Welcome to a special holiday edition of WCPO Lounge Acts. I'm your host, Gil Kaufman, senior contributor to Billboard magazine. Today, we have a legendary Cincinnati band with us, Pearlene, who are back together after, I'd say, almost a decade of being apart. They're here today to play us some songs from the reissue of their 2007 album, For Western Violence and Brief Sensuality, which is out on double vinyl now. You can get it? Tomorrow? All right.
Pre-order it still, I think, yeah.
So we're going to go around the horn here and just have everybody introduce themselves. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead, Ruben. Why don't you start over there, Ruben?
Just look here
Anywhere you want.
I'm Ruben Glazer.
Guitar?
Guitar and vocals. And
Andrew Higley. Keyboard.
Hey, Andrew Jody, drums.
I'm Jesse Ebal.
Bass.
Bass. I play the bass.
You forgot. You seem like you forgot for a second.
Beth Harris, backing vocals.
And Kristen Kraft, backing vocals.
And you two are returning players today. You've been here already once this year.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're going to talk to them about the making of the album, the original making of the album, and then this reissue. We're going to talk about the gig at Northside tomorrow, at Northside Tavern, and then and you'll be joined by some guests there tomorrow. Is that right? You'll have a couple extra people with you.
yeah, some guys who were either involved in making records or playing live shows, or both. In this case, are going to join us. Brad Minerding, who's going to join us today as well on a couple tunes. He was with us for a cup of coffee till we scared him off. But we've always remained friends, and it's awesome to have him here. And Johnny Walker from Johnny Walker fame.
And if you don't know what that means, come down to the Northside Tavern tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, and you'll find out. We're going to have them play a couple songs from the album now. We're going to hear Watch That Wave, and then we're also going to hear We All Get Off. And then we'll come back and talk a little bit after that. Let's go to it.
All right.
So it's called Watch the Wave.
Watch the way they approach you with caution. They've been talking on their own. Watch the way they approach you with caution. They've done some talking on their own. Watch the way they all live in third person. I've not spoken to a soul in so long. Watch the way they all live in third person. I have not spoken to a soul. women home. I'm over the knees, like any animal needs. Bless the sun, bless the sun. You better wrap it up, boy. Someone's gonna take it. Send it back to you and make a different problem. So watch the way they approach you with caution. They've been talking on their own. So watch the way they approach you with caution. They've done some talking on their own. Mr. Brad Minerding.
Oh yeah. I thought it was the bottom.
This one's called We All Get Off. We All Get Off.
I've seen behind them. Who'd believe I was in line? We all get off. How we get off? We all get what we asked for. If the future's an idiot, if the chicken will run, we all get what we came for. Believe me, love, I know it's hard, but you wouldn't have it easy. And there's nothing I can tell you that won't just make you suspect me. We all get off. How we get off? We all get what we asked for.
joining us, and I'm sad if you are just joining us, because that was Pearlene playing a couple songs that you can hear tomorrow night when they play at the Northside Tavern. That was Watch the Wave and We All Get Off.
Watch the way.
Watch the Way.
the
I'm
Way.
sorry. Thank you.
That's the other one's off the surfing.
Right. That's your like side group.
It's
right?
the Surf Christmas album.
Perfect for this time of the year. So thank you for playing those songs. I appreciate it. We're here today to talk to the band because they haven't really played together for almost 10 years. Is that right? From what I
10
understand.
years.
Yeah, this is the first.
Not all in the same room at the same time, anyway.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces.
So tell me a little bit about. I know that the album that you guys are playing songs off today for Western Violence and Brief Sensuality, which came out 2007. You're reissuing it now. Tell me kind of what happened with that. Whose idea was that to put this album out on vinyl?
It kind of always been there. Like I did.
Closer to the mic.
It kind of always been there. Forgot I didn't have the headphones on. I'm real professional. Professional. And I think we even designed album art. We're not going to get into all the reasons why it didn't happen way back when, but I think we had originally planned to put it out. It didn't happen for whatever reasons. It didn't happen, and then I of course in recent years finally got went from just having records as a thing to like actually. Okay, I have
It's like a thing again.
I can
to have
actually
records.
listen to. I mean, I
Right.
always had records. We
Yeah.
always had records. We all of us. It was never a fad, but we had them because they were affordable, and that's how you had records.
Yeah.
And now it's become a thing, which is great. It's a double-edged sword, but it's really great to be able to, So I started. It was always there in the back of my mind. I think how this actually started was just kind of, just reminiscing. Beth
And
put
you guys
something
you're
out
all
there.
in different places,
Yeah,
literally now. I know,
Yeah.
Ruben, you're
I'm in Germany.
you're in Germany.
Berlin.
Jesse's in
Jesse's
Austin.
in
Yeah, I was
Austin.
just listening to the record and
Andrew's in Higleytown.
quoted some lyrics to Ruben and said, "Miss you, brother," and then suddenly
Yeah.
this whole thing happened.
your
And
fault.
then
Yeah.
AJ was
Well-
calling me like half an hour later saying,
Well, yeah,
that was happening.
the stars align, man. I mean, but no, Jason Snell at We Have Become Vikings, who helped a lot with the reissue. He was just in the loom one night, little plug, and said, that never came out on vinyl, did it? And I said, no. And he said, I really want to do it, and and
And around the same time, I think we've just been having these kind of
yeah,
conversations.
it all kind of, so I was writing Ruben to ask him if he wanted to do it, and he's writing me, sending me a version of Bones in My Back. So it just all seemed like it was time again,
And
And I think it's nice to finally see this record on vinyl. We always we enjoyed working in an analog environment.
Yeah.
We enjoy the tones made by all all this vintage gear.
And this
like,
record
we,
was.
we made it on a tape machine, and we
Made it on a
always
tape machine.
wanted
We
to
all-
listen to it this way, and we didn't get a chance to listen to it
I mean,
this way.
there
so-
are things on there that were done after the fact, but the record is the sound of us all together.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, these two became a really big part of our sound live. And
After it was
not
recorded.
unfortunately, they became a part of it. Unfortunately, not till after.
right.
Not unfortunately.
Excuse us.
I'm in Germany now. I'm turning all the verbs and sentences backwards.
Whatever you gotta tell
Leider.
yourself, Ruben.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that was another great thing to be able to, because actually Beth and I met making one of these songs through a phone call. John Curley was recording it, and I said, "Man, I hear this part, but I can't hit that part. Do you know somebody?" And he said, "Yeah," and we didn't know we'd like go on to be like basically almost siblings. So.
And
it's
and
great
you know
to get them on
this record, if you listen to it, and if you were the fan of the band the first time around, it does feel like kind of the culmination of your influences, and also the thing that made you so special. The thing that really kind of gave the band such a lift at the time. I'm curious. 10 years have gone by. I know I wrote things 10 years ago that I cringe at now. Maybe they don't feel so good. What does it feel like now to play these songs again? To revisit these songs that I assume you were real proud of then, and now to hear them again and play them again.
I think they still hold up, man. I mean, and I can't say that for everything I've done in the past, but I think this record does. And
We
we
weren't-
worked really hard on it.
And we weren't making it for that time. We were making it as like
for ourselves.
a distillation of things. And I think the things personally and on a bigger sense, that were happening in the world in my personal life still I mean, there's not a whole lot of literal songwriting and a certain storytelling thing. It's more of kind of a standing back and looking at how you know, I felt about, I don't know.
How people relate to one
Well,
another.
Impressionistic.
I think that's why it stands. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to this day,
Yeah,
is that
no,
how
there's
you
a
can
timeless
relate
quality
to
to
it.
it,
You know?
for sure,
Like,
yeah.
It's been interesting to revisit this, especially more now. It's just fun, really, to get together and sing and there. But when I was at home, either remixing some of this stuff and going, Jesus Christ, I got to listen to myself, like muted out again after, or just relearning this stuff and going, okay, what did that mean to me, and what does it mean?
Was there
now?
any?
What
How
does
did
it
I?
But the
now?
cool thing is, you know, and I hope these are decent songs, and if they're decent songs, they should mean something. They shouldn't be a static thing. They should mean something different in the context of this time. And I think that's why I can still sing them with, you know, what I hope is some conviction. Otherwise,
I think that little set we just heard before proves it. I'm not worried about your conviction at all. I do wonder if you could talk a little bit about. Obviously, there's the original album, 9 songs. Is that right on the original album? Yeah. And then there's some extra tracks as well that you guys added on. 4 extra tracks. Tell me about what those are, where they're from. AJ, you want to talk about that?
They're all from the same session. Well, all but one. Rosemary Girl, Anvil, Vegetable Mineral, and Lead Me Nowhere. Essentially, that's making up side 4 of the album, what we're calling the Rosemary Girl EP. So the reissue of the album's on 3 sides, that's on 4. And then we added Bones in My Back that we're getting ready to play on in a few minutes at the end of side 1. So there's 4 new songs. And that's the only song we recorded featuring Beth and Kristen. And that was in a later session, maybe a few months later. But
So if you pick up the album, you get the original album, then you get these 4 bonus tracks. Now, the other thing I was wondering is a lot of times when bands will revisit one of their iconic albums, they'll do that thing. I think U2 did it this year, where they play the whole thing front to back, and then you kind of get the greatest hit set. Is that what you guys are going to do at Northside, or are you going to kind of mix it up?
Exactly, but we are going to pretty much play you know, we have sets. There's going to be a set of the record, and then there's going to be a party set.
Tell me about the
Which
party
has
set.
some
What's
of
the party set going to look like?
Well, you know, our band, we came into existence. Jesse and I were. I mean, I've told the story a million times, but I never told it here. We started out. We were roommates. We were doing this whacked out folk thing. I was playing fingerstyle guitar and slide, and Jesse was playing upright bass, and we were doing it, at bars, and we just kept getting tired of getting drowned out.
Yeah, it was not loud enough.
And so we just plugged in, and then, you know, we didn't have any songs when we started. We just did a bunch of old, you know, Fred McDowell songs on stage. We lucked into some good opening acts right off the bat, and went through about 17 or 18 and a half drummers and landed on that guy. So we can go back. We're going to kind of do history in reverse, hopefully, not to give too much away, and just kind of end with some boogie and some fun. But, you know, it's hard to put that across to people who haven't seen us, but I think people who have know it's going to be a little revival action.
One thing we've always really focused on with this band is music is a celebration, and we try to ramp sets, live experience to that. You know, this isn't music for staring at your shoes and saying, "Man, that sounds wonderful." You know,
It's certainly not.
it's participation music.
Take you to church.
Might say something to Jesus.
Well, it depends what club you're in. Yeah. For people who saw you back in the day, or for people who've never seen you, is there something about playing together? Obviously, all of you have played with other people. You've played in other bands. You all still play. Jesse, you're still playing with other bands, and all you guys are playing in other bands. What's the magic about this combination of people?
Family affair.
Mm-hmm. Family affair.
Yeah, it's always will be, and that was the thing. Even when, we were, trying to find even when we were trying to find new ways to fail, back in the day, we still always that part of it was always, that was. It didn't make you smile every day of the week, but it was, that was the glue, and it still is the glue. It took,
New Ways to Fail should be the name of the EP you record after this, I think, by the way.
New Ways to Fail.
If one component was different, it wouldn't sound the same, and that's the thing. Everybody adds their own individualistic flavor, I think.
Yeah.
And now you've had all this experience outside of the band, too, so I imagine you bring some of that to the sound as well.
I mean, I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy the material more now, being outside of it a little bit. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
less stress. It's just fun now.
You're less stressed.
If you're just joining us on Facebook, our guests today are Pearlene. They are together for the first time in almost a decade, and they're going to play us 2 more songs that you can also, maybe 3, that you can also hear at Northside Tavern Friday night, where they will be playing their legendary, I'm going to call it, 2007 album.
Infamous.
For Western Violence and Brief Sensuality. Add your own adjective there. We're going to hear a couple more songs now. We're going to hear Bones on My Back, which AJ was just talking about. That's an unreleased track.
Correct.
And we're also going to hear Hosanna. And then maybe, if you're good, you're going to hear High and Dangerous as well. So, Pearlene, once again, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hosanna.
Hosanna first. Okay.
Watching bubbles on the ceiling. My train is off its track, and I span up on my field. Nobody knows if this is home or just some shadows on the wall. And I've outgrown the use of legs. Got nowhere left to crawl. Now this sun's tonight. Help you sleep tonight. Tries not to listen very hard.
Thank you, Mr. Brad.
Brad Monitoring, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I sip on your water?
Yes, please.
Only I could sip. Ever been to the monkey house at the zoo? My daughter loves it.
Giving myself, self unto two, then I'm leaving. Leaving myself out in the I don't even know. If only I had bones in my bag instead of rocks in my glass. Giving myself, self unto two again. And I am left only a dull night for the cleaving. Blades so blown out, right to China only. I am leaving. When you get home, drop me a line. Be consolation for my worried mind. When you get home, some kind of giving myself, self under two, and I'm leaving. Me into you, you into me, doesn't come out even anymore. If only I had bones in my back instead of stones in my past. I'm giving myself, self under three again. And I am left only a dull night for the cleaving. Blades so blood out, right to China only. I am leaving.
Can't leave that microphone smelling funky.
Smell like boys.
Stood at the border all night long, stood waiting for the bus to come, and watched the bailiff beat the judge and give him all his martial law. Under a high and Arab sky, the moon's an unwed lullaby. The congregation counts the stars beneath the light of burning cars. We don't laugh, we don't cry, don't give away our hiding place, and there is nothing in our hearts. Fear of faces might betray. Someone's gone and clipped our wings and made us naked, earned our things and fed us that our jealous last our minds are high and dangerous. I need a little vision so I can go home. Need a little vision so I can go, sister. You worry, sister, go. You worry. Need a little vision so I can go home. Need a little vision so I can go, sister. You worry, sister, go. You worry. Love the kind that we're swimming in. Sometimes there's a vicious scream. So don't you worry. Don't remember my intent. I don't remember how this went. I don't remember where I was, or when I woke up someone else, or revelations in between. The water changed from blue to green. The children changed from young to old. The story changed from spun to told. Now I'm waist deep in our way and watch the buildings slip away. I dream of us as two machines. Our love is liquid mercury rolling through a poison tongues when nothing's ever lost to one, but takes the breath of both of us with a high and dangerous. I need a little vision so I this static tone. And then I woke up from my sleep, 2,000 dirt years from my home. And when we woke, were we not lashed like painted ladies to the mast? Was the movement bulletproof and mutant mutts on every roof? When the ship she ran aground in a past West Texas town, there was a mark on every door and every inch of earth floor, sucked up in an evil dream of childish men who plot and scheme to hide their clothes for souls they've lost with hunger named Russ. I need a little vision so I can go home. Need a little vision so I can go, sister. You worry. Need a little vision so I can go home. Need a little vision so I can go home. Love the kind that we're swimming in sometimes has the most vicious grin, so don't you worry.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. Thank you for that. If you're just joining us on Facebook, that was Pearlene, who just played us another 3 excellent songs. Bones on My Back, Hosanna, and then we also heard High and Dangerous, which is not a way to be around the holidays. But if it's going to be High and Dangerous, it should be High and Dangerous that way. We want to really thank you guys for coming in. We're really excited. And if you want to hear more of that, you can go check these guys out at the Northside Tavern tomorrow night, where they'll be celebrating the first ever vinyl release of their 2007 album, For Western Violence and Brief Sensuality. They'll play those songs. They'll play some other songs that maybe you haven't heard. They'll have some guests. Who knows what's going to happen? Thank you for being guests on our final podcast of the year. This is our last Lounge Acts of the year. It's a great way to X out the year and say, let's go on to the next one.
Happy War on Christmas, everybody.
All right, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for joining us. You can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you find your Apple Podcasts. And thanks for a great year on Lounge Acts, and we'll see you in 2018.
Thank you.
Thanks.